Sawadee Krab Boss Fam. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the worst skate advice I have heard on the internet and what I would do instead of following this advice. Anyway, let's get into it. Beginner for beginner tutorials. You can't get a beginner for beginner jiu-jitsu tutorial because beginner jiu-jitsu grapplers don't know how to fight like that. And beginners give short-sighted advice. For example, I started boxing a lot more. Boxing, Muay Thai, a lot of martial arts for some videos I got coming out. And something that I noticed was my hands and my knuckles were hurting. So I asked a couple people in the class, yo, hey man, my knuckles are hurting. Do your knuckles hurt? They said no, but a couple of people who aren't really fighters, they said, oh, maybe you just gotta push through it. And another one said, oh, maybe you're punching too hard. And then I spoke to an actual fighter, somebody with experience, and he said, no, my knuckles don't hurt. The reason why your knuckles are hurting is because you didn't wrap your hands properly. Speaking to somebody with experience gives you an opportunity to learn from somebody who was there. For example, let's go back to my punch in the bag. Let's say instead of going and talking to somebody who had been fighting or taking the time to talk to a coach or fight somebody who had actually done it, I went out, continued to do what I was going to do, punching the bag as hard as I possibly can, and then I broke one of my knuckles. Now the person might not go, they might not get a second opinion. Unlocking tricks is a lie. Our bodies are not video games. You can't press back and do the crazy leg. You have to make your muscles twitch, you have to shift on your body, you have to balance. And if you don't do it consistently, if you're not working on that technique, you will not be able to do it. Progressions aren't about learning tricks. Progressions are about advancing your drills and advancing your skills. Doing one trick isn't like, okay, now I did this trick, now I'm gonna unlock the next trick. Progress is not linear, and the different skills that are required to do different things are different. And so you would have to have a drill set up, and you'd have to have a routine set up, and that's how progressions work. Progress over perfection. I love the idea of not pushing yourself to be perfect. I love the idea that you should have fun, but I also believe that standards and accountability are an extremely important part of actually progressing. So I like the phrase precision over perfection. When you do something in a precise way, you do it in a very specific way, you do it in a very repeatable way. And that's what's important. Another statement that I've heard before is, I don't like to skate on beat because skating on beat is rigid and disciplined. I actually did a poll on Reddit, and about 3/4 of the people who responded said that they did not think that skating on beat was important. If you don't have a disciplined skate practice, you will not progress. It also gives you more reps on the same move. It's not just about,
oh, I need to skate on beat because 1, then 2, and 3, and 4.
Oh, the next thing that people really talk about is skate hard and skate fast. Don't worry about the other stuff, it will come. I noticed that a lot of people focus on doing their moves as fast as possible. The point of jam skating and rhythm skating is not to do the moves fast. Yes, after you have mastered it, doing it at a higher speed becomes an element of it. But if you go to the rink and if you're talking to some real JB masters and some real skate masters, they're all gonna tell you, start off slow. You work on the footwork slow, you get it nice and smooth, and then after that you speed it up. The way these moves look is the goal. One time I heard somebody say that they transition faster by doing a little jump around in the middle of their transition just to kind of get around. Honestly, that's not the best advice, because the faster you go, the more dangerous something is. You don't want to be skating as fast as you can and then do some vague footwork, because that's how you're gonna trip and bust your head on the ground. Everybody says safety is sexy. Safety is sexy. Wear your pads, be safe. Great, I can agree with that. But a couple other mindsets that are going around do not align with the idea of skating safe. The first is normalize falling. Falling is a part of skating. Yes, you will fall, but the falling isn't the learning. Where you stand up and you start skating more reflectively and you think about why you failed and how you could prevent the next fall, That's the learning. The way that I learn moves is I break them down very specifically. I focus on the basics, and then I train those basics so much and I add on to them little by little so that I prevent as many falls as possible. Brings me to my next point. If you're not skating outside your comfort zone, you're not trying. Nobody on a high level consistently does an activity outside of their comfort zone. In fact, they spend most of their time in something known as the boredom zone. Things that they can do well, but they're practicing. For example, if you go to UCLA, or if you go to like I don't know, the Warriors gym or whoever's good at basketball right now, they don't spend the entire time running 5-on-5 full court press games. They got weight room time, they have warm-up time, they have drill time, they have time with different coordinators, they have play running time. And all of these things are not, okay, now go D up the best player on the team for the next 8 hours. It's not all high-level activities outside of their comfort zone. They're a bunch of smaller activities that adds up to you being able to do greater things. So when I hear people talking about skating outside their comfort zone, and I think it leads to a lot of falls, and it really contradicts the idea that safety is sexy. Anyway, if you liked the video, if you thought the tips were helpful, please like, please subscribe. If you love the video and you want to support the young homie, hit me up on Patreon. I'm going to be starting some classes and some offerings for my patrons this week. Well, until next time, Largo and Boss fam.